When can the government restrict my free speech rights? Imagine speaking your mind freely and then suddenly being told you can't say certain things. It might seem unfair, but there are specific times when the government can limit speech. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution protects your right to express ideas and opinions without government interference. But this protection is not unlimited. The government can restrict speech only in very narrow cases defined by laws and court decisions. For example, speech that incites immediate lawless actions, like encouraging violence or riots, can be stopped. If someone is urging others to break the law right now, that speech can be restricted. True threats against individuals are also not protected. If someone threatens harm, the government can step in. False statements that harm someone's reputation, known as defamation, can be restricted if they are proven false and damaging. Obscenity or child pornography are not protected by free speech laws, so these can be banned. Fraudulent speech, like false advertising or scams, can also be limited. Speech that includes fighting words, which are likely to cause immediate violence, can be restricted as well. Certain groups have different rules. The military can impose broader speech restrictions to keep discipline. Prisoners' speech can be limited if it relates to prison rules or security, but they still have some ways to communicate. Students in public schools have free speech rights, but these can be limited if the speech disrupts classes or harms others. The government can also regulate when, where, and how speech happens through time, place, and manner restrictions. These rules must be neutral about content and leave other ways for people to communicate. For example, a city might limit protests to certain hours or locations to prevent chaos, but they can't ban protests because they disagree with the message. It's important to know that private companies or social media platforms are not bound by the First Amendment. They can set their own rules about what can be posted or said. Also, laws against harassment or threats are enforceable, even if they limit speech. Understanding your rights means knowing that free speech is protected most of the time, but only in specific situations. If your speech doesn't fall into these exceptions, the government generally cannot silence you. However, if your speech crosses into unprotected areas like inciting violence or making threats, restrictions are allowed.